Are your people working hard but not reaching their full potential? The problem is not effort, it is development. At the Modern Observer Group, we transform workforce development into real performance. Our human-centered achievement programs help your team think better, communicate stronger, and execute at a higher level. That means higher employee engagement, stronger leadership, and measurable results across your organization. If you want a workforce that performs, leads, and delivers, it is time to invest in your people. Visit modernobserver.com and discover how the Modern Observer Group helps you build a workforce that wins.
A potential funding deal for TSA, Iran pause extended, the Olympics ban biological men from women's events, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. President Trump said Thursday he would sign an emergency order directing the Homeland Security Secretary to immediately start paying TSA agents again, stepping in as Congress remained deadlocked over funding for the Department of Homeland Security. More than 480 TSA officers have quit since the shutdown began. Call-out rates have topped 40% at some airports, and wait times have exceeded 4 hours. Assaults on TSA officers have surged more than 500% during the standoff. Meanwhile, Congress is one step closer to ending the Homeland Security shutdown after the Senate advanced a new last-minute deal. The Senate unanimously advanced a deal to reopen most of the Department of Homeland Security in the wee hours of Friday morning, 42 days into the shutdown that was spurred by the Trump administration's immigration operations in Minnesota. The bill provides no funding for immigration and customs enforcement and parts of Customs and Border Protection. The bill also did not have the stringent reforms Democrats have pushed for, like requiring judicial warrants or requiring agents to unmask. ICE and CBP remain funded through the previously passed Big Beautiful Bill and have not been affected by the shutdown. President Trump on Thursday extended a pause on strikes against Iran's energy infrastructure until April 6th, a 10-day delay to allow negotiations. Trump said talks with Tehran are going very well, even as Iran continues to deny any direct negotiations are taking place. The Strait of Hormuz remains effectively shut, and Iran continued attacking Persian Gulf states and Israel on Thursday. Israel said it killed the Iranian naval commander responsible for the Hormuz blockade in a targeted airstrike. Oil prices rose more than 5% on Thursday, with Brent crude crossing above $108 a barrel, while the S&P 500 fell 1.74%, its sharpest single-day drop in over 2 months. Gas prices nationally have climbed to an average of $3.98 a gallon, up roughly 33% in a month. The U.S. Postal Service is reportedly planning to impose a fuel surcharge on package deliveries for the first time in the agency's history, amid surging fuel costs. The Wall Street Journal reported that the Post Service is planning an 8% surcharge beginning in April, and that the agency plans to phase it out in January 2027, according to 2 people familiar with the matter. According to the report, the fuel surcharge will only apply to packages and won't affect letter mail. The move comes as both FedEx and UPS have long-standing fuel charges that have been increased in recent weeks as oil prices surged due to the Iran war disrupting oil flows from the Middle East. The International Olympic Committee on Thursday banned biological males from competing in women's events at the Olympics, starting with the 2028 Los Angeles Games. This reverses a policy first adopted in 2004 that allowed transgender women to compete after undergoing sex reassignment surgery and hormone therapy. IOC President Christine Coventry, a 2-time Olympic swimming gold medalist, announced the change Thursday. Women will now be required to undergo a one-time screening for the SRY gene, a genetic marker found on the male Y chromosome. Former athletes praised the decision, with former NCAA swimmer Riley Gaines and ex-Olympian Sharon Davies calling it a long overdue win for women's sports. The NCAA is now facing calls to adopt a similar policy. That's the Raw Naked Truth for March 27th, 2026. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcast app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.